What if that hasty, proactive decision to try to prevent a crisis could end up becoming a worst nightmare in the future? I know, really encouraging opener, right? Well, it's a question slash warning that comes right out of the Old Testament in the Bible. Hey everyone, Pastor Russ St. Cyr here with your Monday morning devotional thoughts for this week. And we find ourselves in the middle of the book of Isaiah, where there's quite a collection of warnings being offered for ancient Israel. And one of them in particular points in a direction that felt quite relevant. How much do I trust God really? Do I trust God long enough to wait for guidance? Or am I prone to react hastily, even in my attempts to be proactive, turning to somewhere else for help that I kind of know will turn out to be a bad idea in the long run? So, Isaiah is a prophet, someone who is basically an illusion smasher for the people of ancient Israel. Not only do his prophetic messages smash the illusions that Israel has no hope, he often simultaneously smashes the illusion that the hope they do have in God will be pain-free. Or worse, the illusion that everything is just fine with Israel while they're actually quite dead on the inside. So in the middle of the book, we find his prophecies making the case that although Israel is seeing a rising superpower emerging and looking to conquer them, their seemingly clever and proactive plan to look to Egypt for military help will not turn out to be the saving alliance they were really hoping for in the end, but in fact will become one of their biggest nightmares in the future. In chapter 31, Isaiah says, "Alas, for those who go down to Egypt for help, and who rely on horses, who trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but do not look to the Holy One of Israel or consult the Lord. The Egyptians are human and not God. Their horses are flesh and not spirit. When the Lord stretches out his hand, the helper will stumble, and the one helped will fall, and they will all perish together." Now, I know we on the GFU campus are not necessarily worried every day about invasion from a neighboring superpower like the people Israel was originally speaking to. But I wonder if we, especially the church in today's world, have something deeper here to reflect on when it comes to the kinds of horsepower that we tend to turn to for help, instead of waiting on God's help. Haven't we been somewhat conditioned to have the same knee-jerk reaction when it comes to that which we fear, big or small? Be proactive. Do something. Do anything. And do it now. Take matters into your own hands. Ask your phone. Siri, Alexa, Google, what should I do? Is there something quicker that I can buy to remedy this situation? Of all things to do when there is danger lurking in the near future, who in their right minds today wants to just rest and wait? Especially for mysterious guidance from a God who often seems on a different time zone or a different time frame. At the core, this human-conditioned reaction we have in common with ancient Israel is exactly the reaction of distrust that Isaiah protests against multiple times in the book, and could serve us well to turn into a few queries for us today. What saviors, other than God, am I all too quick to sell out to when I find myself worried, fearful, or feeling the general urge to get some semblance of control over my uncontrollable situation? What or who, other than God, are the alliances that I tend to trust in the unguarded moment? Is it possible that these short-term alliances could actually turn out to be the enemy of my life in the long run? What about destructive habits? What about tech-induced mental health problems or consumer debt? Or how we start with substance abuse or the plethora of possible addictions? Or what about relationships that should have never been entered into? Or hastily burning relational bridges over a temporary situation? The list goes on. In light of these kinds of queries, Isaiah sends a strong and clear message. Waiting on God is a trustworthy decision, even when God seems to be waiting too. Isaiah 30, verse 15, reads like this: For thus said the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. But you refused and said, No, we will flee upon horses. Therefore you shall flee. And we will ride upon swift steeds. Therefore your pursuers shall be swift. The Lord waits to be gracious to you. Therefore he will rise up to show mercy to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him.